Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. And today we will discuss system design for DevOps. Let's go. Guys, today we will discuss about system design. It is because while I was giving interview, I see that if you are aiming for good companies like product-based companies, uh, then there will be one round for system design, and that round is basically on the scenarios and questions that how will you design any system which is able to handle the traffic spikes on any big days. If there is so much high traffic, how your application you will design that it will be able to handle that much traffic. So for that, you should be having a clear understanding of system design. So today we will discuss the basics of system design. First of all, we'll start from understanding what is monolithic and what is microservice architecture. So, guys, whatever are the advantages of these are both architecture, those are the disadvantages of these architecture. Like monolithic is used for simple application, resource efficient at small scale. Okay, so this is an advantage, but do you think in any organization, any application is simple nowadays? No. We can, the resources are not used at small scale. So this is a disadvantage too, right? Microservices, granular and independent services. Again, the disadvantages are those that it is basically, you know, complex, more complex because to establish the communication between all the services, that is more complex in microservice architecture. So basically, in both of these architecture, the advantages can be related to disadvantages too. So when we are asked that how will you design the application in AWS? So I'm talking about AWS. So people say that first of all we'll be using load balancer or API gateway. So it depends. Like I made one video between the difference of API gateway and load balancer, like for which requirement both are used. So load balancer is basically, it can handle all the HTTP, HTTPS requests and the other requests like. But API gateway is basically used for handling the HTTP requests like post, put, get request, delete request, and API gateway is is cost effective than load balancers, but it depends like what is your requirement, what is your budget, and what you require. And basically load balancer is used for most multiple things, but API gateway are used for the like HTTP HTTPS request. So when we are using both of this, we have to make a record in a DNS service, which we use, like Route 53 we use, where we have to create a record. Like if a request come for this URL, then where it should be redirected. Okay. Then behind this load balancer, we have the auto scaling groups created. Those are called ASGs or scaling. That depends. There are two types of scalings that we'll discuss. Okay. Behind we can use EC2, we can use ECS, we can use EKS, and then there we have a database. Then in EKS also we have a horizontal pod autoscaler, cluster autoscaler. We have in EKS we have a ingress which acts as a load balancer or for routing the traffic. So there are many things behind too. In database also, like if you want to use high available database, we can use Amazon Aurora because it has you know many replicas are created. There are read replicas too, and it is like replication is there in many regions. We can do it. So that depends. So this all you have to tell. And again, I'll list more important points later on. Then, what are load balancer? So, load balancer is basically distributing the incoming traffics across multiple target groups. That this auto scaling groups will create a target groups. Okay, so if suppose any request is coming with so like with any URL, then it will be redirected to that target group. Okay, so that is the architecture. So basically, we have three types of load balancer like application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, but this is deprecated. Application load balancer basically works on layer 7, and network load balancer basically works on layer 4. Layer 7 is handling HTTP and HTTPS requests, while layer 4 is handling the traffic requests like TCP, UDP. It depends on the port number, like which port number the traffic is coming to. So accordingly, it will balance the load, will distribute the load. But guys, see, there is one thing that I want to highlight, that application. What it's like? Suppose they'll ask you this question, like in your organization, what kind of load balancers you are using. So it depends. Like application load balancer you want to use or network load balancer. In some of the organization, only application load balancer is used. Network load balancer is not used. In some organization, both of them are used. So you can tell, like we have used application load balancer to a network load balancer to for balancing the traffic at the layer 7 and at the layer 4 level for the high availability. But of course, the cost goes high with this because we are using both the load balancers. Correct. Then when we are talking about scaling, then auto scaling groups. So there are two types of scaling: vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling means increasing the capacity of the server. Like if EC2 T2 dot micro has been we are using, then we go for T2 large. So that type of scaling is called increasing the capacity is called vertical scaling, while horizontal scaling is increasing the number of servers. But why horizontal scaling is preferred over vertical scaling? Because once spike reduces, then we cannot decrease the capacity of a server. We can increase the capacity, but we cannot decrease the capacity. So that's why vertical scaling is not recommended. And while horizontal scaling is cost effective too, horizontal scaling we have no limit, but in vertical scaling we will have a limit. Like at one point of time, we cannot increase that capacity. So that's why horizontal scaling is preferred. And on in EKs also we have the autoscaler like horizontal pod autoscaler, cluster autoscaler. So horizontal pod autoscaler helps in increasing the number of nodes, pods, sorry. While the cluster autoscaler is number of nodes are increased. So pod is the smallest unit in Kubernetes, right? And nodes are like the worker nodes, then the main node. So these are the nodes. So if we are increasing the worker nodes, then it is a cluster autoscaler it is doing. And if we are increasing the number of pods inside the nodes, then it's a horizontal pod autoscaler. So basically to handle high traffics. So basically if you use these points, no, that will make your answer perfect. If you say to handle high traffics on big days, like if it is Holi, if it's Diwali, if it's Eid or something, Republic Day or some sale day, then we can plan the scheduled scaling. We can pre-warn our load balancers that this day the load, like the traffic will come and you have to be prepared. We can use caching mechanism. We have Redis cache. All this we can use. We have to reduce the database connections. For that, we can use the RDS proxy so that again and again the database connection is not happening. Because if the database connection is happening again and again, that is like not a good thing. Okay. One thing more I want to add in load balancer, like load balancer is application load balancer helps in checking the certificate valid. If it is HTTPS, it means the certificate is valid. While network load balancer is checking the SSL termination. Okay. So I think the system basic design basics are very clear to everyone. If anyone has any doubts, please comment down. And also one thing, guys, I have made one video on DevOps interview question. I think my it was like basic GitHub and Jenkins questions were there. So I haven't discussed the answers yet, but guys, Vikrant, he has posted the answers and everything is correct. So I have pinned the comment of his in that video. You can refer the answers from his comment. And thank you, Vikrant. Yeah. So.
So that's all for today's video. I hope you find the video very helpful. Let me know your views. So yeah, bye. Take care.